So this is my photo of the world's longest roller coaster, Steel Dragon 2000 at Nagashima Sparland. You may notice that it's taken outside the park and the coaster isn't running. That's because I travelled all the way to Japan to ride this on a day when the park was closed. Today we're talking the pitfalls to avoid on your next coaster trip. Hey, this is Stu for Out and Back Travel, and I help you plan your theme park travel adventures. Today we're talking about the pitfalls that can really ruin your trip. This is not to be a Debbie Downer, as I'm here to help. I'm sharing these experiences so we can all learn and avoid these mistakes which could be costly. All these things have happened to me before. Yes, I am a professional, darlings, of course, but even as pros make mistakes, and that brings us to our first point. Things won't always go according to plan. Life happens, guys, you know that. Even when on vacay, it's impossible to control everything going on in the world. When things don't go how you expected and maybe the wheels start to feel like they're coming off, please don't stress. Stop what you're doing, take 5 or 10 minutes out of the situation, get yourself a drink, allow yourself some time to calm down and think a little clearer. Especially these days, Google is not far from your pocket and it is your friend and can solve most things with a quick search. You've worked hard to get on your trip, so please make the most of it when you're on it. Beware of hidden fees. Particularly we're talking Ryanair here. I've seen the staff walking up the queue to get on the plane with a tape measure in one hand and a credit card machine in the other hand to check that the carry-on bags match their size restrictions, and issued on-the-spot fines for people that were literally millimetres over. So please make sure you're following all the terms and conditions and you're prepared for any fee that might crop up when you're on your travels. When you're driving to the theme parks, does the country you're in have road tolls? Will you have to pay for car parking when you get to the theme park? And when you're inside the park, some parks have policies that loose articles must be stored in a locker before you can enter the queue line, which they charge you for. So do your research into all these little tiny hidden fees that could crop up and add up to quite a big amount. Don't miss your connection. I've slept through checkouts, missed trains and even a flight home, all of which can be seriously costly. Make sure you arrive at your travel connection, whether it's checking in at the airport or arriving at the train station with plenty of time to spare. Pre-2020, I would have been all about booking the cheapest available ticket, which are usually fixed departure times. Now things have changed in the world, I'm definitely looking at springing a little extra cash in the first place to get a flexible fare, which will allow for changes to situations and of course cancellations. Be prepared for hefty car hire deposits. This is a fairly recent one and is more in Europe than anywhere else in the world. I remember when I could merely leave a note from my mother as a deposit. However, on the past few years, this fee has really rocketed up. When hiring a rental car in Europe, make sure you have a credit card with enough available funds to cover the security deposits. These can be as high as €1,500 and generally seem to be around the €1,000 mark. You can get them cheaper and it maybe takes a few extra clicks when searching for your car hire, but always worth checking out how much the deposit will be. Now the credit card must be in the name of the main driver of the car and you can't use a prepaid card, and in some cases you might not be able to use a debit card, so please triple check the terms and conditions before you book. Prepare for all weathers. It's always worth researching into the climate and general weather conditions of your destination, but be prepared for the unexpected. The weather is unpredictable everywhere in the world. It's maybe worth thinking about a foldable jacket in case of rain showers and even a change of shoes if you're in a particularly rainy climate like Florida. When planning my trip to Japan, I knew that Fuji-Q doesn't operate its coasters in the rain, so I picked January as that was the driest month for rainfall with the sole intent of getting on those coasters at Fuji-Q, and that definitely paid off. Check what's open. Did you know Cedar Point only opens 7 days a week for about 3 months of the year? And if you visit in September or October, it may be closed midweek. With what's going on in the world right now, it's more essential than ever before as parks may not be operating fully based on the current local restrictions. Also check will all the rides be available. Disney has long published its rehab schedule, as rides have to go down for maintenance at certain points of the year to keep them operating all year round. But even Fuji-Q now has a page on its website, and I'll pop a link in the description below. Forget about getting all the creds. After 20 some years of theme park trips, I can tell you from bitter experience that at some point you'll be spited by those coaster gods, and it's almost impossible to get on every single credit out there. Rides break down every day, they may be down for maintenance and construction gets delayed on new rides. You never know how busy a park will be. If it's slammed and there's a 2-hour queue, do you really need that wild mouse credit or the wacky worm? Prioritise the things that are important to you and don't get too stressed or derailed if things aren't available. This one falls into the category of managing your expectations, which is really the key to getting the most out of your trip. So that's some of the pitfalls to avoid when planning your next roller coaster trip. I hope you feel more prepared for your next adventure. What are the pitfalls you've experienced on your travels that may help others avoid them? Leave them in the comments below. And as always, stay safe on the way out and back.